Happy Friday, happy Friday, happy Friday to everybody. I am late and I understand that you got stuff to do, so do I. But for some reason today, we're just going to be late and life will go on. So, welcome to a new episode of the Social Media Seed. Today, we're going to power through and we're going to talk about the new Facebook antitrust lawsuits. Facebook stays in trouble. We'll talk about that. Also, Twitter verification process. That's right. Verified accounts are making a comeback. Instagram decides, you know what? We're just going to turn this thing into e-commerce all day, every day. And now Instagram is giving us a new space to do some shopping. And for those of you that love music, I know you got your Spotify, you got your iTunes, but I have a new music streaming service that you may not have thought about, but you probably have been using it for other purposes. And I'll tell you in just a second what that is all about. So that's the rundown for today's episode, and let's go ahead and get started. Hold on one second here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It has been a crazy morning. Technical issue upon technical issue, which is kind of strange because last week was such a great production. Wasn't the we had a little bit of issue last week, and this week I'm having something similar with my sound. So, if you can't hear me, please let me know. If I'm coming in really hot and distorted, please let me know, because for some reason I cannot get my sound quality the way I want it this morning, but the show must go on. So that said, we're going to power through and work on that after the show. Okay, so welcome to a new episode of the Social Media Scene. For those of you that are new, hey, I am still Alice Fuller, principal consultant at Sheer Social. So what is Sheer Social? Sheer Social is my social media marketing and training business. I do social media management too. I do that too, but primarily I do more training and consulting with professionals and businesses and things of that nature. So yay for me. Now, how does that help you? Well, this particular show, I'm going to tell you what is popping in the world of social media from week to week, because every week there's something going on in social media that you probably should be aware of. Especially for those of you that are working in social media as a professional, or a lot of you use it as a side hustle. Okay, no problem there. And for those of you that are in your 9 to 5s and you're doing social media for some brand, some company, or whatever else. And there are some of you who just use it because you're trying to grow a business, you're trying to generate an audience and things of that nature. So this show is created to help you stay abreast of what is going on from week to week. And there's a lot going on this week. Especially the big story, at least in my opinion, is this antitrust lawsuit with Facebook. It may very well change, depending on how this thing goes. This may change how we use Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. It just might. But I'll tell you more about that in just a second. Also today, we're going to talk about Instagram and basically Instagram becoming e-commerce. Just Instagram, e-commerce. They're pretty much synonymous at this point. Maybe we should call it social. No, you can't call it social media e-commerce. Social commerce, can't call it that. But at any rate, it's still a social media platform, but it is really becoming very heavily invested in e-commerce. And I'll tell you what the newest endeavor is. Also today, definitely got to talk about Twitter verification. Lord of mercy, all the drama, all the angst, trying to get verified on a particular social media platform. We turn some of the stuff that doesn't matter into something that does matter, literally overnight. But at any rate, that's a whole nother conversation. But Twitter is going to potentially give us a new verification process, I would say in the week or two to come. They do have a set date, and it is in the month of December, and I'll tell you about that. YouTube, if you are a YouTube user, you're probably using YouTube primarily for what? Video hosting, you watch your videos, that kind of thing. But I want you to think about YouTube also as your streaming service, your music streaming service. I'll tell you more about that in just a second. So that's the rundown for today. So while I am on screen here, because I've had so many technical issues this morning, let me ensure that I am actually talking, that I am actually broadcasting. One moment. Give me 1 second. Usually I would have this set up somewhere real pretty and I could just look at it, but I don't. So just bear with me a minute, a little second here. In the meantime, tween time, while I do that, please go ahead and share this stream with friends and frenemies. Your frenemies too. Go ahead and share this stream, especially in those places and spaces, conversations on social media are going on, and especially with those individuals that need help with social media but will never admit it. Pride cometh before the fall. Those individuals. So if you can do it in your groups, your pages, however you want to share this stream, go ahead and do that while I do this tech check right quick. So as I'm looking at my live stream, I am looking for someone to help me be a co-producer, technical director, because I am here. Wonderful. I am streaming. Okay, wonderful. Now, am I streaming every place I'm supposed to be streaming? Now, that's another question. Let's see. Am I on the Twitter? Am I on Twitter? Not Twitter, but Twitter. Am I on Twitter? Am I on Twitter? Let's see. Twitter people, holler at me. Would you? Nicely, though. I'm sensitive. I am sensitive. Let's see. Am I streaming on Twitter? I am streaming on Twitter. Wonderful. So as long as I got Facebook taken care of and Twitter, I'm good. And I am probably streaming on YouTube too. I'll check that later. So I'm everywhere I'm supposed to be, or plan to be. Let's get down to the get down with the first story of this here day. That is going to be about Facebook. Okay, people, I've been telling you for months? At least 4 or 5 months now. Regulation is coming to Facebook. It's coming. It is, even Stevie Wonder can see it at this point. Hey, Stevie. So at this point, when we start talking about regulation coming to Facebook, we're talking about initially these antitrust. And they've been coming. Matter of fact, there was news that all of these lawsuits were coming, but it seemed that it was just going to be the FTC. That doesn't come as a major surprise, because we know that Facebook, or specifically Zuckerberg, has been sitting in the hot seat before Congress for a little while. No surprise there. But the biggest surprise is not only is the FTC filing an antitrust lawsuit, but 48, count them, 48 attorney generals representing 48 states in these United States. That's damn near the whole country. So you could potentially say the United States versus Zuckerberg a little bit. There's about six or so states, territories, that kind of thing. But for the most part, you've got 48. Started with 46, now it's 48. 48 attorney generals, along with the FTC, suing Facebook for antitrust issues, lawsuits, that kind of thing. Okay. Some of this should not come as a surprise to you, because, like I said, Zuckerberg has been sitting in front of Congress for a little while, so that shouldn't come as a surprise to you. But here's the thing. What might come as a surprise to you is how it all may pan out. Because if this thing goes the way Congress wants it to go, Facebook may have to not necessarily give up But Facebook for the last couple of weeks, couple of months, has been consolidating things. You notice how Messenger, Facebook Messenger, Instagram integrated. Then we got the WhatsApp was coming. Facebook, or Zuckerberg more specifically, saw the writing on the wall. So that's why he's been trying to get everything under one umbrella so that Congress cannot separate them. But if these lawsuits go the way they're trying to go, Facebook just may have to relinquish, separate itself from Instagram. Instagram will become again its own independent agent, and WhatsApp, same thing. That may change some of the way we use the platform, especially with this push that we're seeing right now in certain apps and in certain features. But here's the thing. I want you to hear it, not just from me, but I want you to hear it exactly from the FTC as to why they are basically in Zuckerberg's butt. I want you to hear it from this guy his name is N. Connor. N. Connor. He is a director of the Bureau of Competition, which is within the FTC. So let me get this together so y'all can hear it for yourselves. Because you can't say, well, that's what she said. No, I want you to hear it literally from the horse's mouth. Okay? So here we go. Oh, you may not hear it from the horse's mouth.
Today, the Federal Trade Commission authorized a complaint alleging that Facebook has engaged in an anti-competitive course of conduct to illegally maintain its monopoly position in personal social networking. The Commission's complaint alleges that Facebook undertook a years-long effort to maintain its monopoly through anti-competitive acquisitions and actions that target potential and nascent rivals. Today's enforcement action aims to restore competition to this important industry and provide a foundation for future competitors to grow and to innovate without the threat of being crushed by Facebook. The Commission's requested relief includes unwinding Facebook's prior acquisitions of Instagram and WhatsApp and barring Facebook from engaging in additional anti-competitive practices that have helped it dominate the personal social networking market. We bring these claims in coordination with attorneys general from across the country, and we greatly appreciate the cooperative efforts of all of the enforcers involved in this investigation. I want to thank the staff of the Commission for their exceptionally hard work to bring this complaint forward, especially those in the recently formed Technology Enforcement Division. What the Commission staff has accomplished in the last 18 months is remarkable. We look forward to prosecuting and winning this case in court, not in the press, and we will therefore not be commenting further at this time. The American public deserves a competitive, vibrant personal social networking market, and we are taking this action to restore the competitive vigor necessary to foster innovation and consumer choice.
Well, there you have it, people. There you have it. It doesn't get any simpler than that, for lack of a better phrase. At the end of the day, Facebook is in trouble. Facebook stays in trouble lately. Why is Facebook in so much trouble? Primarily, not because they own Instagram, WhatsApp, and Facebook itself. It's the how they've acquired these companies that's got them in trouble. Because at the end of the day, it appears that Facebook is trying to literally create a monopoly in social media. New world order. Okay, all of that. That is the main reason why these lawsuits are popping off the way they are. So once again, you got the FTC, and that was represented from the FTC, N. Connor, from the Director of Bureau of Competition. And then you've got the states, the 48 attorney generals, that are also in on this lawsuit. Regulation is coming, people. I don't know how it's going to look, but I dare say, I keep saying it, it may change how we use social media, specifically how we use Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So do not be surprised at all when you see a big shakeup, quite possibly in before the end of the year or at the beginning of 2021, because 2020 has been a doozy all by itself. Nothing should surprise you at this point. So here's the thing, though. Of course, Zuckerberg wants to defend himself. And here on the Facebook blog, he had a little something to say. You know, of course, being a businessman, he was, what y'all not going to do is try to make it look like when I first acquired Instagram and some of these other properties that you didn't okay it. Y'all was sitting right there and let me do it. Now, some years later, you're saying that it's not okay. But why wasn't it okay then? That's basically what he's coming back with. So he says, when it comes down to the Instagram and WhatsApp, he says both of these acquisitions were reviewed by relevant antitrust regulators at the time. Okay. The FTC conducted an in-depth second request of the Instagram transaction in 2012 before voting unanimously to clear it. So why are you coming at me now? Okay, that's his approach. The European Commission reviewed the WhatsApp transaction in 2014, found no risk to harm competition in any potential market. Okay. Regulators correctly allowed these deals to move forward because they did not threaten competition. Hey, Curtis. Good morning. Good morning to you. So, again, Zuckerberg is saying, y'all know I already acquired these things. You okayed the acquisition of these platforms, one in 2012, and then another in 2014, that being Instagram and WhatsApp. Didn't have a problem. Now, many years later, he says, with seemingly no regard for settled law or the consequences to innovation and investment, the agency is saying it got it wrong or wants a do-over. In addition to being revisionist history, this is simply not how the antitrust laws are supposed to work. No American antitrust enforcer has ever brought a case like this before, and for good reason. Okay? Now, he had a little extra to say, too. Now, I want to show you on the blog, though, this little piece right here. And I think he does have a point in what he's saying, because he says, you know what? Here's the deal. I understand exactly what's going on here, and I understand the climate in which this is all coming down. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Hopefully I can find it really quickly, hopefully, because this is live. Yep, I'm talking about the possible breakup of Facebook. Indeed, I am, Curtis. Well, we can't call it the breakup of Facebook, but the breakup of the monopoly that Facebook has, or let me say it this way. The breakup of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. That's what we're talking about. That is the potential breakup. So I'm trying to find in his words, he mentioned something about, you know what, in the climate that we're in right now, I understand why this is coming at me, because of what has happened with the elections, and I dropped the ball, okay, 2016, yeah, I dropped the ball too, in 2020. So I understand the political climate in which we are in right now, and that probably is why y'all are coming at me so hard right now. Yeah, Zuck, you may have a point with that. However, at the end of the day, that ain't the main reason. Now, it could be an underlying reason that indeed is true, but I dare say it is not the main reason that you are sitting before these bodies of law trying to defend your case. So as you can see here, let me move it over a little bit. Here is on the Facebook. Is it Facebook? About Facebook.com. Okay. So I'll put these links in the comments on Facebook, and y'all can look at these as you so please. And I suggest that you do, because then you get you get the fuller story of how this is really going on. So like I said before, he's laying out his case about, I don't know what the problem is. This was not a problem several years ago, and now seemingly it is a problem. Why didn't you check me then as opposed to checking me now? Nonetheless, he's gonna have to deal with what is presently ahead of him. If indeed these lawsuits go through, how we use social media, this is going to shake up social media a little bit, because it might set precedent too, for the future, and how you'll notice, not just in social media, but in media in general, you're seeing a lot of mergers happening right here at the end of the year. Like I said, between television networks, cable networks, we're seeing a lot of mergers and a lot of acquisitions going on. So whatever happens right here with this Facebook case is going to impact, like I said, it could very well set precedent for companies, especially tech companies, in the future. That's why I said this case, keep an eye on it, because it's going to impact how we navigate these platforms. So let's move on, because I've talked about that enough. Then there is definitely more news to cover. So let's move on to something else. And I would play my music, but my music is not working with me today. I'm having audio issues all the way around the board. So let's go back. So let's go now to Instagram. So we talked about Facebook, talked about Instagram. So with Instagram, I told you last week, Instagram is all about the e-commerce right about now. Yes, it is still a social media platform. Indeed it is. Indeed it is. However, howsoever, at this point, they have decided to put shopping into Reels. That didn't take long, now did it? Because Reels has only been around for what, maybe a month or so now? And they've already decided, to figure out a way to monetize it. At first, I thought it would be more along the lines of advertising, but I think every social media outlet, platform understands that people are not on these platforms to be advertised to. We're on these platforms to talk to people, to, hang out with friends and things of that nature. We want to keep that communal type of vibe going, but the reality of it is, it's a business. It's a bona fide business. So when you start thinking about, okay, how is Instagram going to, or Facebook, remember Facebook owns Instagram, how is Instagram going to monetize all of this? Well, you've seen it. One, with the ads. Ads are everywhere now. Ads are in your stories, or ads in your timeline. And then you've got shopping. Shopping tags are everywhere now, including Reels as of this week. So you've got shopping there. You've got shopping in the home feed now, because as you're scrolling through the Explore section, you're going to see something that's really, really big, as it often is. And then you're going to click on that. It's going to be a Reels. And of course, there's going to be a tag in that piece of content that will say, do you shoppable or whatever. I'll show you in just a second what it looks like. And in that, you will be able to buy whatever is featured in that Reels. So you've got Instagram TV, okay? And we've got shops, of course, in the timeline. There's certain content in the timeline that has shoppable tags in that. So basically, Instagram is indeed the new e-commerce. It is. There's no way around it at this point. And right around the holidays, you can't be mad as a business with them putting that type of e-commerce on the platform, because we already know, with the Rona being what it is, more and more people are going to be at home shopping. They're not going to be in the stores, despite But you know what? They're not going to be in the stores quite possibly as much because for a sale, people, people, for a good sale, certain people will risk their lives for a good sale, and we know that. But when it comes down to our typical consumer behavior, we understand too that certain stores might be closed or already closed because of COVID and all the fallout from that. But also too, it's just dangerous. And then we've got governors all over the country, shutting things down. Only a certain amount of people can be in a store. So shopping online has got to be at an all-time high right about now, and that's going to continue into the holidays. So when you're shopping online, I know a lot of us like to think of Amazon first, but you might consider, since the phone is right there in your hand and you are already talking about what you were buying anyway in somebody's DMs, might as well go on over to Instagram and see what's shoppable. Because into 2021, you're going to see more platforms really, really pushing into this e-commerce space. Why? Because they want the money, one, of course, but then two, they want to keep you on the platform longer. And three, they want that data. That's right, they want the data. So if they can keep you on the platform longer, collect some coin, and make you comfortable in buying products right there on the platform. You don't have to go off to an extra little website or a landing page. Bet that is what is going to happen. So don't be surprised when you see it. You shouldn't be surprised by now anyway, because a lot of the platforms have already integrated some element of shopping into the platform. You can buy t-shirts and whatnots on YouTube. Pinterest has been in this game for a minute. Technically, with the shoppable pins, they don't call them shoppable. Well, when they were first launched, they weren't called shoppable pins, or were they? But nonetheless, it's been that long since you've been able to buy products through content on Pinterest. Now we've got Instagram, and now we've got shops on Facebook. We got shops on Instagram, got shops on Facebook. So no surprise at all. Okay. And of course you got ads on Twitter that you can buy products through. There you have it. So everybody is getting in on the e-commerce, and I'm not mistaken, I think TikTok and Snap are doing something too. But nonetheless, it is what it is, people. Just get comfortable with, giving up your credit card to a social media platform. If you're comfortable putting it on Amazon and letting it stay there, you might get comfortable with Facebook, Instagram, some of the messaging apps too, having your credit card information. So there we go. Let's move on to, let's see if my graphic still works, because I want to use that. Will that work for me today, since everything else wants to act crazy? Let's see if that works. Oh, that works. And bam. Okay, cool. My little clapboard still works. That's nice to know. Wonderful. Now let's move on to the other news of the day. Twitter, as I affectionately call it, Twitter. This whole verification process that was creating so much angst for people a couple of years ago. Well, of course, Twitter shut it down. They just, you know what? We're not doing that right now. We got other things to focus on. This was like maybe 2-3 years ago. We got other things to focus on right now. And because this whole verification process is getting messy and we're getting complaints, it's just, and some other stuff we've done that we probably shouldn't have, giving verification to people and giving some, for lack of a better phrase, some shine to some people that didn't deserve to be verified on Twitter or any social media platform for that matter, for considering the content that they were putting out. So they shut it down. But now Twitter is bringing it back. And for the last month or so, they've been asking for input from us, the users, on what we need to do in creating a new way of verifying individuals or profiles for verification. So for those of you that use Twitter, I know I am on Twitter every day. It's my go-to. I know a lot of you still look at Twitter like, I don't know what it is. I can't understand it. I don't, no. I'm going to stick to just Facebook and maybe Instagram, and I'm going to leave the Twitter alone. I would tell you not to throw out the baby with the bathwater where Twitter is concerned. You can still use Twitter very effectively for business, whatever you want to really use it for, but especially for business when it comes down to real-time engagement and good research, because we're always talking about real-time engagement and finding your target market and all of that. And in many cases, we automatically start talking Facebook, we automatically start talking Instagram, and we leave Twitter out of the conversation. I think that would be a grand mistake for some of you. But that's a whole nother conversation. That's a consultation. That's not what I'm here to do. So when it comes down to this new Twitter policy, Twitter has been working on a policy with the input that we've been feeding the platform or the powers that be behind it for the last couple of weeks. And Twitter is saying, you know what? We might have a whole new policy. We just might have a new policy for you by December 17th. That's what, next week? Is that next week? Isn't that next week? Yeah, next Friday. Next Friday, Thursday, something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So with that, Twitter has decided, you know what? We're going to do this a little differently. So let me show you what their official word is on what they're going to do. So let me go over here to the company profile over here, not the company profile, but their blog. You notice every platform does have a blog. That's the best place, in my opinion, to get some of the best information, because you got a lot of people reporting stuff, but all they're really doing is regurgitating what they saw, officially on the company blog. So let's show you this. When it comes down to, so here's the official word. Help us shape our new approach to verification. Okay, so this was back in November, right? So they put it out there. We want your help. We want your feedback. Okay, cool. So now in building the verification policy, it says we plan to relaunch, I just told you that, in early 2021. Okay, cool. They want to define the core types of notable accounts that are served by verification. So we've got basically 6 types: the government, the companies, news, entertainment, sports, activists, organizers, and other influential individuals. Now, I know your mama told you you were special, and you are quite, you're kind, you're smart, and you are influential. Okay. But that's not going to fly for all of us. Some of us are going to apply. That indeed is true. And we probably still may not get the verification. And you should be okay with that in certain instances. However, certain individuals, you really do need that verification, because we've seen time and time again, especially with celebrities are concerned, and especially with politicians, we're seeing this wave of fake profiles, people coming at you in your Twitter DMs or however else they do, or in your thread, with this, profiles that look real but aren't real, or they look just like the celebrity you are already following, but it's a whole fake account. So at the end of the day, in those particular reasons, yes, they need that blue check mark so that you are actually talking to the official channel of an individual. But I want us to get away from this mindset that having this verification is going to make us stand out anymore on Twitter, or technically any profile. That ain't it. It's really not. Yes, it does help you tell people that, I'm verified, this is my official account. But all this extra we've added to having that blue check mark, what's wrong with us as people that we have to feel validated by a social media platform? Once again, this is not Iyanla Fix Your Life, so let me get back on track. At the end of the day, yes, a new way of getting these verifications is coming our way. They say early 2021, but my research said a policy could be underway, at least something that they can work with by December 17th. So once they get that, then quite possibly by the end of the year, January, 1st of January, they'll start that process again, and everybody can apply to get their Twitter verification. And those that feel that they just got to have that blue check mark, they can go on about life and be happy. The rest of us will be just fine. So that is the Twitter news for today. Okay, so let's move on, because there is a little bit more news I want to cover before I get out of here, because I'm already running late today, and I do apologize. And I got a couple more minutes left and one more story. So I was talking to you earlier at the top of the show about music lovers. That would be me and some of you too. When it comes down to creating those playlists that we love to just immerse ourselves in, throughout the day or whenever you get a time to, we usually go to the iTunes. We go to Google. Was it Google Music? Because they got rid of Google Play, I do believe. So it's Google, whatever Google is doing. And then you've got Spotify, and you've got some other ones out there. Okay, right? Usually, though, we don't think of YouTube as being a music streaming service. Now, for those of you that are music artists, maybe you do. But for the rest of us, YouTube is where we go to watch our little videos. Maybe we're watching, movies legally. And some probably illegally too, if we're honest, on YouTube. But we think video when we think YouTube. I want you to know that YouTube has a very robust music section. Very robust, okay? Not to mention, think about it. Over the years, we've been watching music videos where? Where are we watching music videos? Not so much on MTV and VH1 anymore, especially because they're doing reality TV. So we're going to the artist channels to watch the official music videos when they have a new release. Okay, cool. So it shouldn't be so unusual that YouTube can curate a playlist for you, basically based on the music videos and some other things that you're doing on the platform. Should not be a surprise to anyone. So let's go ahead and I'll tell you about what YouTube is doing so that you can create a bomb playlist for the holidays. And for some of you, especially if you're on a budget, a playlist might be the only thing you can give. So, and I say that to be funny, but I also say it in all seriousness. For some, the holiday season is going to be rough for a lot of people. And sometimes the gift of music might be just the bow on the great present that somebody needs. So let's go ahead and see what they are doing over there on YouTube. So on YouTube, they're calling these daily mixes. Daily mixes. Kind of similar to, well, no, Spotify has a daily mixes. YouTube is coming up with something called My Mix, a My Mix playlist, and it'll feature different aspects of your tastes and interests, basically allowing you to dive into, or vibe on a particular music genre, just like you do everywhere else. Now, you'll get up to 7 of these new My Mix playlists, and they'll be featured on the Home tab. Now, that said, I know a lot of us are probably using the usual YouTube app on our phones. To probably enjoy this to the utmost, you're going to download the YouTube Music app. I repeat that. If you want to curate and have YouTube help you create this or create it for you, this new playlist called My Mix, download the YouTube Music app. That's where you'll see this. And right there on that Home tab, you will see the My Mix. Now, I also know too, you can do a little bit of this on desktop, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now when you get to the app, you open it up, you see, you go to the Home tab, and it will include a combination of favorite tunes, as well as potential new favorites for discovery, just like Spotify. Says YouTube is rebranding its personal playlist previously called Your Mix, for those of you that were already using it, to better clarify its purpose and eliminate possible confusion with the new My Mix. Yeah, that's going to create confusion. So at any rate, look for My Mix to create these playlists. And then they're also creating one called My Super Mix. It will combine all of your music tastes into one big old playlist across all different types of genres of music. So let me show you this. Here, oh, before I do that, the home tab will also feature an activity bar. So you get access to different types of music if you want to work out, something of which I really should be doing. Or you want to meditate. All right, you'll get that. Okay, you want to relax, or if you're on a commute someplace, Lord bless you, if you got to take a train or a bus, any place. Oh, Lord bless you. All things considered. So workout, focus, relax, and commute. They've got a whole genre, a whole playlist of music specifically for those purposes. So let me show you why I think this is something that you might really want to check out. Now remember, I'm on the desktop version here, but on your phone, you want to go to the YouTube Music app, the YouTube Music app, and download that. So let me get my stuff together here. I need a technical director. Okay. All right, so let's go here. Here you go. So as you see here, YouTube says they're bringing the personalization to your everyday moods and moments. Okay, cool. That's the super mix. That's where all the stuff across all different types of genres and everything. That's my super mix. We're launching an activity bar that will feature common activities on the YouTube Music homepage and personalized playlists. Okay. Now, as a part of the super mix, you'll get the smaller, or I shouldn't say smaller. You'll get a set of My Mix playlists. So all the My Mix playlists go into the My Super Mix. Okay. And let's see. Here now all I did was, this is on the YouTube blog. Like I said, every platform has a blog where you can get all the great information. Now, what I want you to see too is, where is the, nope. Okay, YouTube Music is what I'm looking for. So let's just do it here. Okay, that's not what I was looking for. Not at all. Hold on. That's not what I want. This is what I want here, which I thought I had. Let's go here. Oop, I got to hurry this up. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to literally bounce out of here. But technically, I started late. So here's what I'm talking about. This is music.youtube.com. I suspect a lot of you didn't even know this existed. I'm pretty sure a lot of you who are not, avidly in the music game know that this exists. Look at this. So you've got today's biggest hits, cool, the hit list. You got Highline R&B. Let's see, conditions under. I don't know what. It's a shame and a travesty. I don't know who most of the new artists are. You've got country music, hot list. You got the Christian music. Okay, cool. Conditions underground. All right, wonderful. And then you got some essentials here. Classic rock. Cool. Timeless gospel hits. Oh, it's a good list if it starts with Walter Hawkins. Done. Then we've got old school. We got her, Alicia Keys, John Legend. Cool. We got neo soul essentials. Raphael Sadiq, Jill Scott. All right. Hope they got some Michelle and Dege Ocello up in there. And some other stuff. Then it says, tell us which artists you like, and we'll create an experience just for you. I'm not going to click on that. But when you go over to music.youtube.com, then you can do that and knock yourself out. They got music videos you can watch over here. Wonderful. And then here are those moods I was telling you about. Super chill mood. Then you've got, we got the workout mood. I can tell you that will probably be the one I use least. And you've got the focus. What else you got? Anything else? Is that it? Okay. And then you've got mixed for you. So you've got a lot of music that you can really.
Now that we've helped people customize and save Liberty Mutual,
what we're not
we can
doing
finally do some beach reading.
is you and this damn emu are not paying me to be on my live stream. Oh, here's a little bit from Joe Sample, which I do not have the rights to, so we are not playing that. Come on, computer, stop. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. Since I can't get it to do what I want it to do because my computer is running a little slow, we'll go back to me and we will shut that down because I do not want Joe Sample coming at me for nothing, okay? It'll just be a dress rehearsal. All right, so that is the rundown for this week in the world of social media. Got a lot going on, especially with Facebook. In the next 2 weeks, keep your ears to the internet streets. Especially as we get to the end of the year, the top of 2021. We don't know what the fallout is going to be with these antitrust lawsuits, but whatever the shakeup or shakedown is going to be, it's going to impact how we do some things. Curtis, you're asking, you can only listen, no live streaming. What do you mean by can you only listen, no live streaming? Clarify that for me a little bit. You mean with the music? Yeah, I think that's what okay, so yeah. When it comes down to the music licensing and YouTube. On one end, yes, YouTube is curating these lists and creating all of that. That's true. But they've got the music rights too. I mean, the music industry and YouTube have had a very kind of relationship for a very, very long time. But at the end of the day, YouTube, has been trying to put out the olive branch and creating a whole space for artists to showcase their music. They're giving them tools like the video premiere and all that other stuff. But when it comes down to regular people like us, creating a video, and then we want to put our favorite artist music underneath the video, then that's a problem because we did not get permission to use that artist's music. That's why that's a problem. And especially in live streaming. It kind of sucks for some of us. That indeed is true. But at the end of the day, you didn't get permission. You didn't call the label. You didn't call the artist or talk to the artist or the PR person, their people, their management, whatever, to get permission to use that music in a live stream. So not only is YouTube having this problem, but Twitch, the live streaming service is often known for gamers, is having this same problem. They had a big snafu a couple of weeks ago with sending out copyright strikes to users. So it is a huge issue. All I can tell you is if you want to live stream with music, you better have a friend who's a composer. or go ahead and go to some of these sites that have music, some of which you can get for free. You don't even have to do attribution. YouTube itself has a pretty good music library for people that are creating videos. Just go into your YouTube studio, go over there to your menu on the left hand side. I think it says either audio library or library, and you'll see you've got various types of music. It reminds me of Muzak back in the day when I was working in television, and we always had to find a music bed for a video, a promo, or an ad or something. We always had to go and look for, something that was heavy strings or something that was music that was inspirational. So that YouTube catalog is one of the best places you can go if you're thinking of putting music underneath video and putting it on YouTube. Facebook has one too called Collections, I do believe, but in my personal opinion, it's not as good as YouTube. And then, of course, you got various sites that you can go to legally pay for music. So we do want to support artists when we can, people. We do. All right, so that's it, people. And I don't have my clapboard. Lord of mercy. Today was a rough day production-wise. It really was. But nonetheless, I powered through. So thank you, everybody, for coming through. I hope you have a good day. I just need to, hold on. I just need to get this off the screen right quick. Can I do that? Can we do that? Thank you. So have a great weekend, everybody. I would play my music, but it sounds horrible, which is why I was late this morning. You say you, Curtis, you say you purchased a subscription from Envato Market. They have tons of music. Yeah, that's a great source too. Another great source. So, there are plenty of libraries out there, people, that you can support legally to get music if you want to do it, especially for your live streams, for your whatever else. Just be careful. Be careful, because everybody wants their coin, understandably. And you don't want to put yourself in a position to be sued or to have a perfectly good live stream, a perfectly wonderful piece of content, just ripped off, or not ripped off, but taken down or silenced because you thought you were going to get away with it because you saw other people getting away with it. No. You don't want to be the test. You don't want to do that. So just either avoid using music altogether. Now the music, because I know somebody's like, well, you use music in your live stream. Indeed I do. And I would be using it today. But for whatever reason, it's the audio quality is just, my iTunes and my Ecamm, they are not working together today. So, but to find that music, I used YouTube, the YouTube library, and found what I thought was a great piece of music that I usually use for my intro and my outro. Okay? All right. So thank you, Curtis. You say great show. Thank you. I do try. Sometimes I come through, and sometimes it is what it is, people. But that's it. People, be safe. Have a good weekend. Please don't be out here in these streets if you don't really have to be. Please. And I say that selfishly because I do want you to return next week. Come back next week and new show. If you have questions about anything that you heard on the show today, please just hit me up. For those of you that are following me on Twitter, if you're up there on YouTube or right here on Facebook, technically you should know how to message me some way or the other if you have a question. Now that said, I am looking for guests. So if you know somebody who is social media savvy and likes to talk intelligently, that's key. Please let me know, because I'm looking for guests to be on the show and potentially a co-host. I need a co-host in my life. I really do. And let me know. Put some people, now don't just put their name, because I have to contact them. So put their contact information in your comments below and or your DMs or whatever, however you're going to do it, please. And thank you. That's a wrap, people. And if I knew where my clapboard was, I would use it. This is just, it's just one of those production days. We have them. Yeah. And I will see you next week. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, people.